Financial crisis in America as record amounts of household debt becomes problematic. Today, I read an article on foxbusiness.com written by Megan Henney titled, Americans are carrying a record amount of household debt. According to the author, Americans racked up more debt at the beginning of 2024, and a growing number of households fell behind on payments for several types of loans, according to a New York Federal Reserve report. Well, my friends, I'm not surprised to be hearing about this. Many people grew too comfortable when we had artificially low interest rates. Many also grew too comfortable not having to worry about making a student loan payment for approximately 3 years. Times have changed. Many who rely on credit to survive are now paying more interest than ever and struggling to deal with the debt load. Those with student loans have started to come to the realization that they may not be forgiven by the current administration, and resuming payments has likely not been easy. Getting back to the article, the author said total household debt surged to a fresh record of $17.69 trillion, an increase of $184 billion, or 1.1% from the previous quarter. The increase mostly stemmed from a jump in mortgage balances, which rose $190 billion from the previous quarter to $12.44 trillion at the end of March. Auto loan balances rose slightly by $9 billion, continuing the upward climb seen since 2020, and now stand at $1.62 trillion. Here are my thoughts. With the price of homes these days, I'm not surprised there has been a jump in mortgage balances. I worry that some of these people may struggle to continue making those mortgage payments. At some point in the future, they may run into problems because property taxes are rising and so are insurance premiums. Some are also ill-prepared to be homeowners because they don't know how to make any repairs themselves. Many rely on contractors to make simple repairs, and that can be incredibly expensive if you can even find someone to come out to your house. Regarding auto loan balances that rose, this is a big problem. The MSRP for new vehicles set by manufacturers are way too high, and dealers aren't helping matters by tacking on dealer-installed options like paint protection and theft protection. Many consumers are going into mountains of debt to buy new vehicles. Most leave dealerships with a lot of negative equity. This has been commonplace for years, but it is getting far worse. While some Americans can handle these expensive car payments right now, I worry about what is going to happen if and when our economy takes a turn for the worse. Imagine how many of these expensive vehicles could get repossessed. Imagine the bath that some banks will take. Getting back to the article, as of March, about 3.2% of outstanding debt was in some stage of delinquency, up from 3.1% recorded the previous quarter, but still down from the average 4.7% rate seen before the COVID-19 pandemic began. The transitions into delinquency, particularly serious delinquency, in which a balance is more than 90 days overdue, rose across all debt types. Credit card delinquencies continued to rise from their pre-pandemic levels in the first quarter. In fact, the percentage of credit card balances in serious delinquency climbed to its highest level since 2012. Here are my thoughts. The percent of change is not significant, but let's give some thought to the big picture here. Transitions into delinquency rose across all debt types. This is not a good sign from my perspective. If this trend continues, it could become problematic. Imagine how this could get worse if our economy slows or if we see a correction or crash in the market. Either of those or both could result in unemployment increasing, which could result in people having difficulty servicing their debt. Some people are barely hanging on right now. If we are hearing about delinquency issues right now, imagine how bad this could possibly get in the future. This is something that could spiral out of control. After the great financial crisis in 2008, I toured several foreclosed homes for sale. I vividly remember walking through kitchens in some homes and seeing stacks of bills. Some people moved out and left personal property and even their bills. These people simply gave up. And these weren't shacks. These were very nice homes. Some people were living well until they couldn't manage the lifestyle anymore. The financial stress was simply too much to handle. They threw in the towel and left their homes and some of their personal property behind so someone else could deal with it all. I read another article today. This one was on foxbusiness.com, written by Eric Ravel, titled, "Amid Rising Debt Levels, Some Borrowers Face Increased Stress, New York Fed." The author of this article referenced a New York Fed blog post which stated credit card borrowers facing the most acute stress were those who have exploited their total borrowing capacity. The share of maxed out borrowers has been increasing from pandemic lows, and it is approaching pre-pandemic levels. Well, my friends, I imagine some borrowers are experiencing acute stress. Some have relied on credit cards heavily in recent years because their pay has not kept up with the rising costs of goods and services. The credit card has been their savior. While this crutch appeared to help in the short term, it's not a good long-term solution, especially during a high interest rate environment. Many credit cards are in the 20% range, with some retail cards in the 30% range. This debt can swell to levels that are no longer manageable. When the buying power of someone's salary isn't keeping up and the credit card gets maxed out, this is when the stress sets in. There may not be a good way out of this situation. You can look for ways to live beneath your means and increase your income, or you can stop making payments and suffer the consequences, which will be dire. You could file for bankruptcy and trash your credit, but that is going to lead to other problems in life. For people who have always depended on credit to maintain their lifestyle, life gets real after bankruptcy. I know people who filed bankruptcy and had to significantly alter their lifestyles. I know people who went from living in big homes to living in very small, rundown rentals in terrible areas. These same people went from driving nice financed vehicles to old, high-mileage vehicles that they could afford to pay cash for. Right now in America, there are a lot of people who appear to have it all, but it's all a facade. It's made possible by a mountain of debt. If there were no mortgages or loans for cars, these people would be living with relatives in a shack and riding a bicycle. The standard of living for many people here in America is made possible because of various types of credit. I worry that some are taking on too much debt. This is manageable during good economic times. Some are ill prepared for a downturn. We've seen the problems that can happen during past recessions. I'm afraid the mountain of debt worldwide could be a ticking nuclear time bomb. Let's hope it never detonates, producing a chain reaction that may be difficult for central banks around the world to contain. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.